Over the past 15 years, three players have consistently defined the NBA: Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and LeBron James.
Place a three. It's good. 0.8 of a second left. James drills a three.
These three have completely carried the league, much like how earlier legends such as Jordan and Kobe, Bird and Magic, and Russell and Chamberlain did in their respective eras. Year after year after year, these guys were always in the mix, either battling it out in the finals or playing a huge role in the playoff chase.
Durant for three. It's good. Kevin Durant from downtown, and Golden State takes the lead.
Well, 2024 has officially kicked off a new era in the NBA, signaling a changing of the guard. I mean, like, Steph didn't even make the playoffs this year, KD was swept in the first round, and LeBron, while doing slightly better, managed to win just one game before being eliminated. Ladies and gentlemen, given how the regular season wrapped up and how the playoffs kicked off, a major shift is on the horizon in the NBA. Changes in the air, and believe me when I say, the NBA will never be the same again. Do you want to know how I can tell a new era of basketball is officially emerging in the NBA? Well, it's because legends from the 70s, 80s, and 90s are making a comeback in the league. For example, Wembanyama is pretty much the rebirth of Chamberlain. Doncic is the reemergence of Bird, while Edwards is the second coming of Jordan himself, fierce, strong, and competitive.
Edwards. Oh, Edwards! A signature slam!
The changing of the guard in the NBA is inevitable and always happens, but right now, it's accelerating faster than ever. I mean, just look at the major award winners and where they are now. Apart from Nikola Jokic, nearly every other MVP or finalist MVP in the last decade is quickly becoming a part of history. I've already mentioned Steph, LeBron, and KD and their current predicament, so now let's consider the rest. Giannis is battling injuries and could be facing an early playoff exit for the second year in a row. Embiid's situation looks even bleaker than Giannis's. Kawhi's legs haven't been reliable since he won the championship with Toronto. James Harden keeps switching teams like it's a game. And Russell Westbrook? Well, teams don't even bother defending him anymore. Then there's Iguodala, who's now so far removed from the league that not even the person who turned him into a meme is covering sports anymore.
I want Iguodala.
I miss Max Kellerman, but do you see what I mean about the era changing? Taking it a step further, Trae Young, once hailed as the next Steph Curry, is losing his shine in the league, overshadowed by newer, more elite talent. Ben Simmons, dubbed LeBron James 2.0, might end up leaving the NBA before LeBron himself does. And as for Dame time, well, it seems like the new kids on the block have already snatched his watch. If you were to ask me about the current era of the NBA, I'd say we're currently living in the age of the Joker. But considering how rapidly the NBA is evolving, with players like Edwards making waves, teams like OKC building up, and prospects like Wembanyama emerging, it might be premature to label this as the era of the Joker, because the truth is, we might just be witnessing the most competitive era in the league's history. You won't believe this, but here's something even more mind-blowing. In just a couple of months, we might just witness the formation of the most incredible super team the NBA has ever seen. Here's what I mean. LeBron James may have just played his last game as a Los Angeles Laker, and there's two key points to consider here. Firstly, LeBron has been reported to decline his $51 million player option, paving the way for him to become a free agent. Secondly, if you track his career, every time LeBron felt like he couldn't win with his team, he moved on to better opportunities. For instance, he left Cleveland the first time when he felt there was no hope with the team. Then, as D-Wade's performance declined in Miami, LeBron returned to Cleveland, where Kyrie Irving was emerging as a star. After Kyrie's departure and realizing he couldn't defeat the Warriors alone, he headed to Los Angeles, joining a group of promising young players. When it became clear that his team couldn't deliver, he traded them for Anthony Davis. And now, here we are, a sweep last year and a gentleman's sweep this year. This overview of his career may seem harsh, but nevertheless, it gives us a strong indication that LeBron might not stay in LA for much longer. Here's the second deal with this super team. Kevin Durant, with Booker and Beal both healthy, just got swept in the playoffs. And now, brace yourself, because here's where things get very interesting. So, a couple of years ago, KD, Irving, and Harden were the highest paid trio in NBA history, making a combined $114.8 million, beating out the former record holders Steph, Clay, and Wiggins by about $7 million. But now, in 2025, the Phoenix Suns are on track to break that record with a combined trio salary of $150 million. So, not only did they get swept, showing they're not championship contenders, but they'll also have little to no funds left to build a strong supporting roster for these three. Then, adding to their troubles, Kevin Durant will be turning 36 soon, while Bradley Beal has been developing a chronic back issue that's led him to missing a significant amount of games over the past 2 seasons. On top of all this, they won't have any first-round picks until at least 2030. If the Suns are smart, knowing they can't compete, they should sell now while their assets are still valuable. Trade for young stars, stock up on draft picks, and focus on a proper rebuild instead of trying to buy a championship, which is essentially what they've been attempting for the past 2 years. Now, here's where things get even spicier. There are reports circulating that the Warriors are attempting to entice LeBron to San Francisco, and on top of that, there's talk of a potential reunion between Durant and Curry. This super team could very well happen. I mean, look at Joe Lacob, the NBA owner who just shelled out the most expensive salary ever for a team that didn't even make the playoffs. It just shows how far he's willing to go for championships. But sheesh, Curry, LeBron, and KD all on the same team? These three might be getting up there in age next year, 37, 40, and 36. But let's not forget, all three of them still posted MVP-worthy numbers this year, were still top players on their teams, and are as lethal as ever.
Three-pointer, bang! Steph Curry nails the three-pointer!
My prediction is that if these three could secure the gold medal together this year in Paris, they're going to figure out a way to team up in the NBA. I mean, with the league being as competitive as it is these days, this might be their last shot, the only chance to grab one more ring.
One of the great playoff runs of all time is complete.
And while some of you might think this is just a pipe dream, gathering so many stars on one team, however, to counter that, I just need to point to the other LA team. I mean, a few years back, who would have imagined the Clippers roster would have a Finals MVP, 2 MVPs, and an All-NBA first-team caliber player all playing together? Who would have ever thought that, huh? But that circles back to my point. Maybe it's too early to dub the current era as the era of the Joker because the NBA is moving towards uncharted territory. I mean, until now, I've only brought up teams that are under the microscope. If we take a step back, Paulo Banchero seems like he's destined to become a superstar.
To the baseline. Just inside the arc, he strikes again.
And considering how the Orlando Magic are developing together, they could be knocking on Larry's door pretty soon too. Then there's the Indiana Pacers, who, for a good chunk of the season, were the top-scoring team in NBA history, ultimately finishing as the 6th highest-scoring team ever.
Float game for the win! And one! Tyrese!
Similar to the Magic, with Tyrese Halliburton at the helm, and considering how young this team is, they could also be knocking on Larry's door before long. Then there's the Celtics, with Tatum and Brown, who haven't just been knocking on Larry's door, they've practically set up camp right outside his house for the past couple of years.
A round 1 victory, and the Boston Celtics advance to round 2.
And on top of all this, here's where it gets even crazier. As we're all well aware, the talent pool in the NBA is at an all-time high. But now, with the internet connecting the world like never before, kids are starting to train with elite coaches practically from birth, and they're watching game films and studying strategies before they even know how to spell properly. What I'm getting at is this: the incoming talent levels into the league are going to be absolutely through the roof.
Oh, Cooper Flag sends him to his own bench.
Right now, the NBA is like a boiling pot on the verge of tipping over. With 2024 officially signaling the end of an era, or at least its final chapters, as much as I'm pumped to see the rest of the playoffs, I can't shake the feeling that the NBA will never quite be the same again. On a slightly different topic though, the 2024 Phoenix Suns are arguably the most embarrassing team of the year. There are countless reasons why that's the case, and if you're curious about the full story, then click on this video here where I cover the entire story.